So today's video is brought to you by my very own coffee, Just a Dad Simple Sip Coffee. It's available in a K-Cup, whole bean, and pre-ground 16-ounce bag. You can find it at justadadcoffee.com, or right underneath the video, you will see the products displayed and you can click on them and purchase them right there. I really do enjoy this taste. It's a dark Brazilian roast. It tastes really good. And you can brew it in a K-Cup machine, or you can grind your own coffee or have it pre-ground for you. I hope when somebody asks you what your favorite cup of coffee is, that you say Just a Dad Simple Sip Coffee. Hello everyone, this is Just a Dad. I get this question a lot. What is MultiStream on a Keurig coffee maker? That's when it has 5 needles in the top of right up here to brew your coffee. Let me show you a close-up and then we're going to talk about it. So if you have a Keurig coffee maker and there are 5 needles up here, some of the less expensive models just have a single needle. They'll have a single needle on top and a single needle on bottom. And the ones with multi-brew have the same single needle on the bottom. They just have 5 needles on top. Now hot water is going to come out each one of those needles. So here I've taken apart a Keurig K-Supreme with the 5 needles. There's one hose that comes up with the hot water, and it's directed up here, and it goes to all 5 of these needles. Now you can take this O-ring off if you need to help clean the needles, but there's a close-up of the needles. You can see there's where the water comes out the middle in 3 spots, and each needle comes out the side. Now this flap is if you ever leave the lid up, hot water is going to come out here and not the needles. They all have that little flap, but that flap gets held closed. When the lid is closed, nothing can come out that flap. Okay, so where do we find this multi-brew technology? We find it in the Keurig K-Supreme coffee makers. I think they're up to about 5 or 6 models right now. Even the very first Keurig K-Supreme coffee maker had the multi-brew technology. Now, they're still making coffee makers that do not have the multi-brew. And the question I get the most is, does this help with the taste? My answer is yes and no. So like here on the K-Slim, the original K-Slim had a single needle, and then they bumped it up to multi-brew. I don't necessarily understand why on this one. It's just an 8, 10, or 12 ounce. There's no adjusting the strength or the temperature. Even the original K-Supremes, you can only do a bold. When you got into the K-Pluses, you can start adjusting more temperature. Now the brand new ones, the Keurig K-Supreme Plus Smart, they have a little display screen here. The Keurig K-Cafe Smart, it's got a nice screen here. It's got multi-brew. This is where I start to notice a taste difference. Now, they don't make a model like this without multi-brew, so it's very hard for me to tell, but I have done some testing. I'm not a coffee taste expert by no means, but when you can start adjusting the temperature and the strength with multi-brew, I think you can taste the difference. And what it is I'll go like on these K-Cafes and these Smarts, they've got like 5 or 6 strengths. So go all the way up to strength, and the temperature, you can shoot the temperature all the way up really high, like 5. When I do that, that's when and I'll do a multi-brew, and then I'll do like in a Keurig K Express, which just has a, press the button and it makes a coffee. I'll do a side-by-side test with those. I can definitely tell they're able to extract more flavor out of here. It's not more bitter. It's just maybe it tastes a little darker, maybe a little stronger. Again, not an expert by no means. And what I've read on the online from Keurig is the 5 needles inject the K-Cup with more hot water to extract more flavor. The brew times are the same. These have the same heating elements in them as some of the newer ones. The K-Expresses, not the older ones. The K-Compact's got an old water tank that heats the water up. It doesn't have this new technology. So even the K-Expresses here, the K-Iced, they've got this heating element, the same heating element that the Keurig K-Supremes have that have multi-brew. So you're not getting a faster cup of coffee. And it's all about running the water through the K-Cup and extracting as much flavor as you can out of that K-Cup, out of that coffee, because the coffee stays in the K-Cup. Water just runs through it, it extracts the flavor. That's what you have in your coffee cup. And again, they all use the same heating element, so you're basically dealing with the same time and temperature. And then when you can adjust the time and temperature, that's where I start to notice a difference. Now, the next big thing with this multi-brew, well, actually, there's about 3 things. Let's talk about coffee grounds. When they first came out with the Keurig K-Supreme, I saw a lot of people, I'm getting coffee grounds into my coffee. That's frustrating. Because on the older Keurigs or the ones with single needles, you rarely ever get coffee grounds into your coffee. Now, what I found, and this will not hold true for everybody, but what I do know is the 5 needles up here at the top, they're poking in the top of that K-cup. You've got 5 needles going into the top of that K-cup, and every time it comes out, you're pulling more coffee grounds out of that K-cup. It's inevitable. That's just how these things work. Even when you got a single needle that goes and pierces the top of that K-cup, some coffee grounds come out, and you'll get clogged needles even on single needles. Now, I haven't got a clogged needle on the 5 needles. Maybe that's why they did it, to eliminate clogged needles. Hey, maybe that's it. I have never had a clogged needle. Let me know if you've ever had a clogged needle on a multi-brew. So, but you do get a lot more coffee grounds. Every time you're doing a K-cup, you open it up. If you look up here, typically I don't look up there, but I will look up there once in a while, I'll start to see coffee grounds. And what you've got to do is you've got to clean that. It's very easy to clean. Do a fresh water rinse. Put a cup down there. Don't put a K-cup in here. Close the lid. Just do the smallest setting, 8, 6 ounce, whatever. Run hot water through this without a K-cup, and you'll be surprised how much coffee grounds come out of that area. And I like to do that once a week. And if I'm brewing a lot of coffee, I'm probably going to do that more than once a week, maybe every 3 or 4 days. That eliminates it for me. Now, with this multi-brew technology, there's another thing. So some K-cups just don't work very well in here. I know San Francisco Bay Coffee Company, they've got those ones that the filter is like part of the K-cup. It's like, it's the filter is the bottom, and sometimes I haven't had a problem with those working, but I know I hear a lot of people, sometimes they don't work. Sometimes really generic K-cups don't work in there. I've tested my K-cups, my Just a Dad Simple Sip coffee. It's a Brazilian dark roast, tastes really good. It works really good in these Brazilian dark roasts or these Keurig K Supremes. But some K-cups just don't work. And I ran across a few that were having troubles. And I could tell it was the K-cup. Like the machine, I went and got a Keurig K-cup, put it in, it did just fine. But I noticed that sometimes the K-cups were a little high or a little short, or the plastic wasn't quite right, and it got heated up and kind of deformed a little bit. So I never had coffee. Well, I did have some coffee grounds in my coffee one time, and it was because I didn't do some fresh water rinsing. So fresh water rinsing, you will prevent the coffee grounds from getting into your coffee. Now, the next thing with this was the reusable K-cup. So I did a video, Keurig, if you're listening, you've got to have some better instructions for this My K-cup. You take the instructions out, they were awful. I'm like, what? It basically doesn't tell you a whole lot about how to use it in these machines. And this is what you have to use for these machines. They sell a lot of these ones with the single needle on the top, Perfect Pod. These work perfect in the older ones with the single needles, but you cannot use them up here. So they came out with this new design My K-cup. It's got this red plunger up here. So it's got a reusable filter. You're gonna put your coffee grounds in here. The first part of the instructions are this piece right here is for older coffee makers. It's not even for these new ones. And then they don't tell you that you gotta remove the filter, the needle basket. So you have to remove this so that you can use this. And it's got this arrow lines up. Once you got that, hard to do like this. But anyway, this goes in, you close it, the 5 needles go in there. So that's important. Whereas if you've ever used these, you don't remove the needle basket when you're using these on the older ones. So that caught a lot of people, even me, by surprise, was removing this. It's very simple to remove, but it just caught us by surprise. The next thing was this red plunger, or this red stopper underneath here. Okay, I'm gonna stay right. Whatever works best for you, that's what you should use. If leaving this plunger in works in your 5 needle multi-brew, that's fine. I found that taking this out, whenever I've used this in a multi-brew, I put my coffee grounds in, this reusable filter, I put this in, I leave the red plunger out, or this red stopper. The instructions don't say, maybe they do. I've had these for a year or two now. I keep buying one, hoping that I'll find the instructions are like, oh wow, they improved the instructions, but I haven't yet. So when you leave this out, all 5 holes are open now. So you're gonna see coffee right underneath those 5 holes. I've never had a problem brewing in any of these coffee makers leaving this out. I never had a problem necessarily with leaving this in. Let me think back. I think I was starting to have some minor problems leaving this in, and that's kind of what caused me to go, what do we do with it? I did a whole video just on this red plunger, and I had a lot of comments. Mine works great with it in, mine works great with it out. Again, what you're gonna find is, either way, if it doesn't work, you're gonna get a lot of coffee grounds in your machine if it's not working properly. And I read comments, people getting coffee grounds in their coffee. They would take this off, when they lifted this up, there'd be all kinds of coffee grounds on top of this. Again, whatever works for you, but again, removing it seems to work the best for me. And that can have a lot to do with what type of coffee ground you're using, how finely it's ground. It should be ground at a medium grind, just for like a normal drip coffee maker. So I hope this video helped with understanding multi-brew technology. Keurig isn't telling us why, or they kind of tell us why they're doing it, but I actually thought they were going to be putting it on all of their new ones, but they're not. They've released several brand new coffee makers this year that are single needle, and it seems to be typically in the Supremes, even though this is a K-Cafe, but the Smart, kind of the more expensive Keurigs, they're putting the multi-brew in. So be sure and check out my coffee maker of the year. I got a Keurig in there and I got a Ninja coffee maker in there, so be sure and check that video out, my coffee maker of the year. So thanks everybody for watching my video today. Underneath the video, if you could hit the thumbs up button, that really helps out my YouTube channel. Again, you can purchase all this coffee right below the video. You'll see links to them, or go to justadadcoffee.com. I really do appreciate everybody's support. Recently, YouTube just sent me my 100,000 subscriber plaque. That would not be possible without everybody's support. So again, I really appreciate it. I'm excited for this new adventure, branding my own coffee. It tastes really good, and I hope you're gonna definitely like it. Again, hoping somebody asks you what your favorite cup of coffee is. It's Just a Dad Simple Sip Coffee. And again, thanks so much for watching the YouTube channel. Also, be sure and check out my Just a Dad Videos group page on Facebook. This is where I do my free giveaways. So when I'm done with my products, I do a free giveaway on there, and you can kind of see behind the scenes of how I make my videos. Also, check out my podcast, Coffee with Dad Podcast. This is where I interview different people. I love to hear everybody's story, and I just think everybody has a story they want to tell. Hit the like, hit the subscribe button, and thanks so much. Miss Fiona always knows when I'm doing a recording.